Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, Patriots. How are you today? Having a little difficulty again. The system, this platform has it down that I'm doing a premium membership, but I don't have the features that I should have, and my episodes keep getting switched to different platforms to, I guess, force me to make more shows, and it's not like you can just come on for 30 minutes and be done. It's just so much beforehand trying to figure things out and change things and add things, and then getting into the studio and realizing that they've changed the connection to the chat room again, and so my password that worked on another show isn't working in this chat room. To be frank, it's not that it's so difficult. It's just that it's not. You have to have a commitment to it, and you have to be, being that there's something in it for you, that you're being, paid for consultation, or you're being paid for lesson plan that you put together, that you selling, or whatever it is that you're planning on doing as you embark upon this reinventing yourself thing that's going on. And, people are being forced to reinvent themselves because of the crappy economy that Biden has created, and people losing their jobs, companies going out of business because they can't compete with the Chinese imports. Mom and pop stores are a thing of the past. Now it's all, big chains, big well-known companies and names like Walmart and things like that. So, we have to basically be changing things very quickly and working together. And frankly, I have, if I had the amount of hours that I have put into this, and I would be making 10 cents an hour. I mean, it's so ridiculous how hard they make it. Even with accounts that I had open, like Rumble and other platforms I can't get into anymore. It's like my phone isn't receiving phone calls. I've been told it goes straight to voicemail, which I did not set that up that way. So I'm just really, needing to take a break, because I can't keep scratching my way up the hill and spending, hours on things, because I have, in my opinion, people screwing around with me. And, they, especially these evil people, they especially get off on messing with people that they perceive as weak and kind. And I'm a kind person that's been forced into being, very upset a lot of the time because of machinations, including, what everyone else is experiencing, packages missing off of deliveries being delivered and they're not delivered. My sister ordered 12 bottles of wine recently, And she went to pick it up, and she gets a message saying, someone else picked up your wine, instead of going there and straightening that out. And apparently someone who is working for the government, apparently, or working for the phone company, is keeping track of, what's going on. And then they say, oh, okay, Joe, go pick up that wine and to say this name and you can get it. I mean, that's the kind of, stuff that people are dealing with, where they, besides identity theft, which, there's title lock and there's life lock and there's other things. There's even reputation defender to get your reputation back. But I'll be damned if I'm going to spend money on getting my reputation back and being smeared by these creepy leftists and then have to pay it all over again because, there's some other jerk that's popping up doing it. But, if I sound like I'm, pissed off and frustrated, because I am. Anyway, I wanted to talk about the ideas for celebrating our loved ones' lives. One of the, I haven't been to a funeral in a long time. I've been very fortunate that I think the last one I went to was for Mr. Theodore at San Francisco High, who was a beloved teacher of my kids. And I went in their place because they were in college at the time. One of the things that I think people could think about, my brother did before he passed, was to set up a way for people to plant trees in his name. He had groves planted in his name because he really loved the outdoors and nature. And, if you have been to a lot of funerals, obviously, you know about these things. But for, people like myself, I hadn't, I was like, oh, that's so nice. Another thing is a building fund to help expand the churches that you belong to, or the synagogues or temples, mosque, so that you can, have learning centers and maybe private schools as part of this church. But, this also, a lot of, as you know, a lot of churches already have preschool programs and nursery schools. But in my opinion, we're going to have to start doing, older grades, private and charter, and basically Montessori kind of programming where, the public schools, they're hiring scum. And, I'm sorry if I hurt teachers out there feeling, but I've seen you, okay? I've listened to you, like in public when I'm at the food store and I hear some nasty teacher saying how, she doesn't care about being at home. She's getting paid. And, these kids are so stupid. It's hard enough as it is to teach them. Like, you people, you aren't doing a job because you have a calling. You're doing a job because no one else would hire you. Okay, so just get out. Okay, we don't need people like you hurting our children and messing with them. So revolting. This teacher I listened to, she said, when the schools were going back to regular classes, no longer having parents do the teacher's job that we pay taxes for. She said that she hoped they all die. I mean, I was just so mortified that this person is mere kids. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Anyway, and also that there's at my brother's funeral, they did memory cards, which basically are like the size of a card that you play, the deck of cards. And it's nice because you can keep it with you, and it's a little token, but it also is key for keeping track, because you don't want it to be that you don't even remember the date that it happened, that kind of thing. In my brother's case, because he was something called Forever in Hearts, and it was a Morse code bracelet, and that came from little MS jenboutique.etsy.com. Etsy is, in case you don't know, is a very crafty place. People who make things have their things there. And I would encourage them to get over to Mike Lindell's platform, my store, because we need to have a place for creators to sell their stuff besides this one place, because, Amazon is not our friend, put it that way. All right, then on top of it, one of the things that I thought about doing for memorializing someone and keeping their memory alive would be to take cuttings from, whether it's an ivy bed or from a jade plant, which, signifies prosperity and good luck. And, just putting them into a bag with a little bit of moisture and, tying a yellow ribbon around it. That way they can plant something and grow it and, have a way of thinking about the person that, the loved one that has passed. I also, as I mentioned in one of my last episodes, that I can't find now because they've been moved around by someone on the Blog Talk Radio. I really found it therapeutic to do the legacy keepsake for my brother. I used Canva to create it. And what's nice about that, too, is you can add in music so that you can listen to music that person liked, or that maybe you went to a concert with them. My brother took me to my first concert, and it was John Denver. But, you could add recordings from people who want to give their memory and add it. You can add it into the keepsake so that, years from now you can have, say, your grandchildren listen and learn about the person that was in the family tree, but also hear the comments and memories of their loved ones and that knew that person. And in my brother's case, I tried to make I know how much he loved his grandchildren, and I wanted them to be able to learn about him and know about his family, but do it in such a way that it would be kind of interactive and fun. So I embedded videos of when they went to Niagara Falls, this is how it sounds, the sound of Niagara Falls, and because my brother raised rabbits when we were kids, I put some little bunnies in there, but video that came to life, and other things that, like what I call Easter eggs, where you find him in this big in this picture in the forest, kind of thing. And I'm leading back to the planting groves in someone's name, someone's honor, because of the wildfires that have really affected California. We have an issue, but also tornadoes and hurricanes and floods also affect wildlife and forests. And what it comes down to is that this improper management of the forest in California, especially, because they get more money for that, but then they keep letting wildfires happen. And I say keep letting them happen because that's how it's going down. They are purposely not managing the forest, purposely letting them become tinderboxes, and purposely letting illegal aliens camp out in them and, be careless and, things catch fire. So, yeah, it does happen once in a while that it just, somehow it's spilling and a fire happens naturally. But a lot of times it's man-made, and a lot of times it's intentional, because then you can put in for federal funds for wildfire relief. And as a person who's been evacuated a couple of times, and so has my twin, it's a big issue to me to have people that are competent running the state of California, because there's really very self-serving, corrupt politicians and very disgusting, evil people. Sorry, but if the truth is that you are not doing a good job, so you will be removed, and I declare this in the name of Jesus Christ Almighty. And if you think that's funny, I don't care. You're going down, okay? We're not going to tolerate you people anymore. Speaking about trees, Vista Del Rey Tree Service, owned by Clara Lopez, and they do tree removals, expert pruning. They're in Vista, and they're fully insured and BBB accredited, plus ratings. They even do lot and land clearing, storm damage cleanup, and that's Vista Del Rey Tree Service. And there's also Stump Masters. They also are BBB accredited, and they're at Stump Masters Tree Services Inc.com. And they're insured with workers' comp and general liability. And that's important because, nowadays you don't want just anybody and then, coming onto your property. You don't want to find yourself, in hot water, so to speak. So I'm putting that out there as these two are seeming to be good companies, and they've been around for a long time. I also wanted to mention that when you're trying to memorialize someone, it's very scary for kids to see, dead people laid out in coffins, especially because of all the horror movies that are out there. So, really think about that, viewing wakes, whatever you want to call it. I know I have a very bad memory of that myself. So, it'd be nice to have something set up for kids that they could be doing crafts or learning dances or learning patriotic songs or doing something, creative while the grown-ups are, talking about the person who has passed, in my opinion. We sing, WEE sing, as songs from, old songs to patriotic songs to some of the traditional songs that America was known for. And it's a good way to, if there's a funeral going on, to have the kids learn about history by music. And that's something that I think would be a good use of their time while they're waiting for their parents. All right, and then finally, I am having difficulty keeping up with everything because I have a lot of things in the fire. And I also have spent time waiting for people to call me back for being interviewed. And, unbeknownst to me, my phone number, my 855-201-6152, doesn't work correctly. And that transfers calls. So I'm going to be having to get new phones, new numbers, starting all over again, all because of unforeseen issues. So I would like to say that everything's set and ready for people, but it's still underway. I have posted some new videos I made. They're on my Getter account. I can't post under my website, Loribella, which I have an account on Getter under Loribella, but I can no longer post on that for some strange reason. So I have to use my real name, which means I'm going to get more threats and more people messing with me and hacking me. So I don't appreciate this, consorted, devious effort to try to shut me down. So, if I sound like I'm fed up. It's because I am, okay? I need to be left alone, okay? And if you can't leave me alone, then, I just have to hang it up. The number to call in is 519-209. And there's lots of different choices out there to listen to. And personally, I find I get the most information from LT, who runs UnYouKnow.com, who's a former Marine, retired. He has information that I don't see other places. I get a lot from, obviously, the Blaze, Glenn Beck and all of his staff of people. I get a lot out of Jesse Kelly, because you can have your kid actually listen to him, and you're not going to be, shocked. It's not going to be, using bad language or doing bad things. And, Alex Jones, and, he has he's been demonized, but, he's not a bad man. He's just way more aware because his family are very, how should I say, connected. They know a lot of people who are in government and in the military and in police and in special forces. So just like I knew years ago about what was happening, how they were smuggling people into the country and kids, and when I went to go to a wedding on the East Coast, one of the reasons why I had gained so much weight was because I was, very upset about it and eating too much and not, exercising. And so, I really caution you on what you watch because it stays with you. And that's what's coming out, is that they're doing all kinds of things on the fly that we're not even aware of, including changing frequency, including subliminal messaging, and including censoring information and news, obviously. I have posted in the past on Linda Paris's channel, McAllister TV Online. She has a lot of crazy, crazy stuff on there. And, she was in media, and she knows a lot of people. So I don't know exactly why she's putting some of this stuff. Maybe it's to make people do their own research and think. She was saying bad things about General Flynn. I was 10 feet away from General Flynn at the last Reawaken Drive-Time show event that I went to on the 10th of March. And, he's not wearing an ankle bracelet. And if he was, it would have shown when he went surfing the next day, and they filmed it with a drone. So, I just, be careful what you accept. But one thing I do accept is the videos that I've seen on her channel of, horrific things involving child trafficking and even just humans being used for, they would, if you're a homeless person, you're a easy target. No one knows who you are. You obviously have no place to go, so you get dragged in and they take your organs out and they sell them. I mean, yes, that's happening. Okay, that's why I say we're dealing with vampires and ghouls and sick freaks and people who do satanic ritual incantations or whatever. I mean, it's really, really horrible, especially for people who've never heard about it. And as I mentioned in one of my old shows, Ted Gunderson of L.A., FBI, he tried to expose it, and I think they killed him. Some stories another day. But he was trying to talk about what he was seeing as an FBI chief, and he had hundreds of people under him. So for people to put out there that he was some crazy old, guy from Los Angeles, no, he wasn't. Okay, he was just a normal person like most of us are, and he was horrified at what he was encountering as an FBI chief. And when we're talking about, horrific crimes, things even worse than what you've seen on TV and in movies. So we are not going to let this happen anymore. And I say we, I mean the people that are part of trying to take back our country and take back our world. And so every day it's important to pray and to declare that, spoken word is very powerful. In Deuteronomy 7.1, God instructed his people to utterly destroy their enemies. They were to show no mercy. When God tells us it is time to deal with our negative, faithless attitudes, it is time to throw away our excuses. No more rationalizing. Well, everyone else is negative. Why should I be any different? We have a job, and that's how you have to look at it. I actually, when I first was getting involved with this, I actually thought it would take like maybe a year. Like I thought, it was going to start. I didn't know that. Okay, look into it and all that. And look what happened. Look how much our country has changed since Obama and Clinton and even Jimmy Carter, who had no business being president, nobody that he was. And he's the one that put in the Department of Education to federalize education to make, dumb down America because we were doing too well. America was number 1 in the world. Now we're number 28, thanks to Obama and his terrorist pals who wrote, critical race theory and common curriculum. That's a whole other subject. If you want to learn about that, go on to YouTube. Dr. Duke Pesta, Pesta, discusses the subjects, how it happened, how it got shoved through. Dr. Duke Pesta's brilliant Common Core speech. All right, as far as, if you have if you have people that you need to send flowers to or gift baskets to, I would use from flowers.com and use the code Celebration Do So. And you can save some money that way. And they have very fresh, nice flowers. And it's also nice because they ship internationally. A lot of people now have relatives abroad. And also why I like them and why, I'm speaking about them right now from flowers.com /Celebration Do So. It's because they help local growers. What they're growing to help local economies. So I think it's a good company to deal with. Now, as far as just a few minutes left today, I don't want to keep finding myself struggling and spending hours trying to figure out, why isn't this working? What happened to the episode? I set it up here, and why is it moved over to a different channel? And, why isn't this picture laying out right? And why did this get erased? Something I thought was important to put in there. I just, I just feel like I'm spending way too much time on this. And I have a few more shows, and I'm going to be taking a break and giving other people a chance to get their point of view heard. Different podcasters. I have been featuring Lois House of School of Greatness. There's a couple other ones that I want to be showcasing. And I think maybe when I come back, I'll actually be in a better mood. All right, gotta go. God bless you all. Please keep praying for Rembrandt. His eye's better, but I still don't have I have to wait a few more weeks for the appointment. And for the specialist, the eye doctor. And so please keep praying for him. Be bold, be brave, and we'll all be free. Take care.